Alright, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the War for Cybertron trilogy, the Earthrise Voyager class Snapdragon. This guy is a relic from Titan's Return. It would seem, even though his character always did this, it just seems like it would fit right into Titan's Return, where you've got a triple changing Voyager with a Headmaster on it. Here he is in his spaceship mode. He has a little landing gear, and then I just have his guns here. You've got ports here, here. These are his robot hands. You got ports here, so he's got lots of ports. You could put lots of weapons on the bottom. You got 3 ports on the back of the shuttle. If you want to count it, you could articulate the wings a little bit. That's more for transformation. Here it is from the top. You've got transparent yellow plastic you can see inside the cockpit. You've got a lot of nice teal paint in there, like an actual cockpit that has details, which is crazy. We'll go ahead and open that up and take out the little dude inside, and we'll talk about him later. So there's the inside of the cockpit. It actually looks pretty good. You got some more teal paint on the sides, or on the back here. You got teal paint on these fins, some purple paint in here, tail here for the little dino arms tucked in there. From the back, you've just got more purple. You can kind of see these are his hands, but when you have the guns plugged in from the back, it's not that easy to tell, but it does kind of ruin the thruster look. But from the side, yeah, there's thumbs. You can tell there's the hands are there. You got lots of molded detail here on the side. Here it is from the front. Kind of has a SR-71 Blackbird look to it almost. And then here he is from the bottom. You can see kind of the scaly details that are going to be the monster mode's tail details there. He's got a couple of Decepticon symbols, some purple on his diaper and thighs, his robot mode thighs. But that's pretty much him in vehicle mode. As you saw, his little Headmaster can fit in there. But we'll go ahead and get him transformed up into the dinosaur, and then we'll take a look at his Headmaster and put that on the dinosaur. So we'll go ahead and get into the transformation. Just gonna shoot this real quick before I get to the transformation. We are gonna go ahead and do some size comparisons, and then we're gonna do transformation. So we'll go ahead and do that with our jet. He is still a jet. We'll go ahead and do size comparisons, and then we'll get into transformation. There you have them with their Rubik's Cube, the Gormagala statue, Volkswagen Bumblebee, and your Netflix Optimus Prime, basically a Voyager-sized version of the leader Optimus, because it's got no trailer. Alrighty, now that we've got our size comparisons done, we'll go ahead and start transforming him into his monster mode. We're going to fold up his landing gear. What I am going to do now is actually put his guns on his underside, what will be the robot chest, because then they can just stay on the whole transformation, and you don't actually have to take them off. You just gotta shift them. We're gonna go ahead and pull the wings away. You've got a slot and a tab here, and we're just gonna rotate these down for now. We are going to pull this panel away. You've got slots and tabs, and we're just gonna kind of hinge it up. You've got a double hinge system in there just to kind of get it out of the way. I rotated these the wrong way. I want them facing out for now, so that way we can see what's going on in here. And in here we have his little dino monster arms. We're going to go ahead and pull them out a little bit, so that way they don't get in the way when we detach this panel here. You've got tab. It's going into the slot there. Detach it, and we're going to have it come down, and you have 2 tabs here, big old tabs that are going to actually go into these slots on his thighs. So we're going to be rotating this back and this down until they come together. nice and even. And there you've got that connection made. So now we can fold this back in and connect. You've got a tab here and a slot there on either side. Tab it together. Both sides. There you've got his body pretty much built. Go ahead and fold down his little dinosaur feet. And I will flip these panels back, but if you wanted them to have some weird looking leg fins, you could keep those out. We're going to go ahead and pull his Dino Mode arms out all the way now. We will straighten his legs down and bend his tail up. Just kind of have it all sitting flat. Make sure it's sitting right. And then we'll go ahead and open up his head. And there's his monster head. And he has only got half a jaw, because that's where his little Headmaster comes in. So here we have his Headmaster. It's just your typical Titan Master setup for the most part. His name is Krunk. And he's got a purple face and a red visor, red arms and lower legs, and the face on his back. And what Krunk is going to do, and I'm going to try and do this on camera, but it's notoriously not easy, is you're going to plug Krunk in to this little port in the monster head, and these fins on his arms are going to fill in these holes to become red eyes. But sometimes what's easier for me is to get him in there first. I'm using the dinosaur feet to bump the camera. Problem is, there we go, first try, excellent. What usually happens is that the Headmaster's ball joint at his head will go ahead and get in your way, and I'll show off his articulation when we're going into robot mode, because I'll show that off before I transform him. And then you can kind of do whatever you want with the lower jaw. It looks goofy. His whole body's coming apart now. You could have it so that his legs are forward like that, which looks goofy. You could have it so that his legs are down and then fold it up, which looks goofy. I just am going to kind of have it open, which is going to look about as natural as you can get it. And then we're going to go ahead and rotate his cannons around. And that's pretty much your... Sorry, my nose had an itch. I am slightly sickly. I have some very, very puffy ears right now, if anyone understands that, where it's just all foggy. And here you have him in his dragon, dino mode, whatever you want to call it, his primary monster mode. And it looks pretty good. Like I said, his head looks weird, but I mean, it's a monster, so it can look weird. You've got all the paint that was in the jet mode shining through, with this additional red paint on the head. And then you've got little red eyes in there for his, his arm fins making the eyes, which is kind of cool. And then he's got little teeth on the back of Krunk's legs to fill out that bottom jaw look. And then you can just see the back. Like I said, this detail is all to represent the tail of the monster mode, and he's even got some parts there that help it turn, because these are his robot feet right here, actually. And unless you look at it from this side, there's the whole airplane, and he's got fins on his legs. But for a triple changer, it's not bad. As far as articulation goes, you can do everything I said with the mouth. You can actually bend the head really weirdly far if you want to. And then this feature here is on a hinge that goes up and down. So he can do this if he gets punched too hard. He could do that too if you wanted to make him into one of them memes. Go ahead and straighten his head out though, because he's just going to look kind of normal. He's got a swivel at the shoulder. His elbows are a bit of a mixed bag here, where instead of having a ball joint and then a swivel in this elbow, which you would think is what they would have done, he's just got the ball joint there. That allows his arm to go up, but it's always going to be at least 90 degrees of bend out, and he can straighten out, but the ball joint let it turn so you could have him kind of just doing this, and now he looks cute and very happy. He's happy and cute. All right, there he is. There's his arms. As far as his legs go, you've got a swivel and you've got a hinge. This cone is going to start getting in the way from most angles, but it's his robot shoulder, so you have that. You've got the thigh swivel, which is the robot bicep, and you can do a full 360 as long as you keep the fins out of the way of each other. And you've got a bend here at the knee. Again, the fins are going to kind of get in your way a little bit, but it doesn't go quite 90 degrees. And then his ankles can tilt not back so much, but they can tilt forward for transformation, so you could have him kind of crouched if you wanted. And then as far as his tail goes, this is all supposed to be tabbed in up here, and it does not want to stay tabbed in at all. Stay tapped in. So it's not really supposed to move, but you could if you wanted. But you've got this much bend in the tip of his tail, and it'll straighten out like it was in the airplane mode. So you could do that with his tail, and you could swivel his guns. You could put his guns on his hips. You could put them on the stomach area. You've still got this tab here, this hole here, and these two holes. You could put them on his tail in a very inappropriate spot. You could put them on the holes on his ankles, which were the undersides of the wings. So you could do what you want with him. I just have them on his back, so that way he could just lean forward and shoot you, and that's what he's gonna do. So that pretty much covers the articulation in this mode. We'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons with a proper actual segue this time, and then we'll go ahead and turn him into his robot husk and take a look at the Headmaster articulation, because this is going to be weirdly, segmented. Apparently, I'm just going to talk about it in robot mode, and we'll get to the robot mode articulation, all of that good stuff. Alrighty, there he is with the Rubik's Cube, our Gormagala statue, so you got a couple of monsters together, our Volkswagen Bumblebee, and there he is with the Optimus Prime again. Alrighty, starting off here in monster mode to go to robot mode, we're going to unceremoniously rip Crunk out of his head and drop him off to the side. We're going to fold this monster head back in, so we're going to fold it down, collapse it on the neck, and then rotate the whole thing inside. And then we'll just keep his guns here for now, but I am going to rotate them back down so they are out of my way. Go ahead and semi-collapse the arms, but not all the way, again, because I like to put this panel up and down with the arms partially out. It makes my life easier. We're going to go ahead and collapse this back up onto here, and again, there's a tab and a slot that's going to keep that together. This hinge is a triple hinge system in here. I failed to mention that earlier, and you want to accordion that together to get this properly plugged in, and then just push his dyno mode limbs in there. We're going to go ahead and detach this now. There were two tabs holding it into place. You've got tab here and slots there, and I thought it was just the tab and slot system that's going to hold the chest in place also, so that's my mistake. But you're going to rotate that up on its double hinge, and you're going to take these black armatures and rotate them up with the legs on it, and I'm going to try and rotate these out real quick so we can see what's going on. And what's going to happen is you've got little tabs on the armatures in here that are going to go here, and then you've got the tabs at the front of this that are going to plug back into those slots again like they were in dyno mode. So we're just going to try and have all of this cooperate and accordion together. Oh, I guess those tabs just don't reach, so it's literally just the tabs and the arms holding this into place. So there, that's locked in there. Good. Go ahead and rotate the legs down. This is the front of your robot mode, so we're going to split the whole tail and or nose cone section, in half and rotate the legs forward, so that way the mushroom peg hole is on the inside of the leg. We are going to take the nose cone tail tip area, and it's on a series of hinges, a double hinge, and then you've got the articulation hinge for the tail, and you're going to have a slot and a tab, and they're going to come together. And then rotate the foot down to fill in that space. Go ahead and do it on this side as well. Slot and tab, rotate the foot down. There you've got his legs done. We're going to rotate at the bicep here, so that way the jet fins are facing the back. Rotate the dino feet into the arms to fill them out and fold the hands forward. And then we can take his guns and put them right from the chest into his hands. So going between modes, the guns are just gonna store on the chest and stay there for dino mode, and go in and out of his hands for robot and jet mode. So that's kind of nice. And there you've got his base body. Here we have little Crunk, and his articulation ball joint at the shoulders that can move out slightly and rotate up that far. And then you've got the dual hinges in his legs, so you can have him sitting, but that's so that way when you have the arms folded in, and there are little tabs on his arms, by the way, in there, if you can see those, that go into little slots. Then you use that articulation in his legs to fold him in half, so he can be a head for Snapdragon. And then you've just got your Headmaster port there, and the ball joint at Crunk's head turns into Snapdragon's ball joint, which gives you rotation, a little bit up that doesn't really stick, some down that sticks a little better but not that much, and then a little bit of wiggle. And it's hard to tell if it's coming from the ball joint or the port. Mostly it's just a rotation at this point. Then you've got the same kind of articulation on the shoulders that you had in dinosaur mode, only it's a lot easier to maneuver it without getting stuck. The elbow is the same as the knee, so it only goes like 45 degrees instead of 90. The wrist will move down, I suppose, but then you're gonna have a huge dino foot chunk hanging out there, so that's not really something I would do. You've got a waist swivel that will go all the way around. Legs go all the way out, go all the way forward, and they go pretty much all the way back unhindered. You've got full 360 at the thigh. You've got 90 degrees of bend at the knee, and the foot ankle does tip, and you can move it forward for transformation, so you can have him doing that, but it doesn't really move back, which is kind of funny because that's how his monster mode feet were. We just brush the articulation real quick. The only accessories he comes with are his two guns and his little buddy Crunk. So we'll go ahead and zoom in here and take a look at the details. He also has a purple vase and a pink visor, but you can see that they're painted separately enough that he's got a little nose in there. There's your Decepticon badges and the purple on the chest that we saw on the underside of the jet with his purple Speedo and thighs. You've got the dinosaur toes kind of hanging out in the arm, but it fills it in pretty good, and it makes it look interesting. There's his guns, detailed look at them. They're just generic rifles. So that's that. He's got the fins on the back of his arms here. These ones look like they might be Blast Effect compatible, but it's hard to tell. They might be too small. But you've still got ports here, ports in his hands, a port on his back. Excuse me. Bumped the camera too. I'm trying to find. There's ports on his knees from the front of the jet. You got ports on his chest, so he's got ports all over the place. Coming down to his legs, they're just black and this off-white gray color from the jet mode. And then you've got the, the yellow transparent and things like that. And here he's got the cockpit details again, just so you can see them. They look really good. And it just clips in. On the back, his legs are a little hollow on the inside, and they try to cover it up with this, and it looks pretty okay. Makes for decent heels. He's got a little bit of a gap between his backpack and his body, but nothing you're really gonna see. And then there's just his back slab. So there you have Snapdragon in his robot mode. We'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons, and then we will finish up the review. Just want to get back to the zoom setting I was on. So we'll go ahead and take a look at his size comparisons. We're going to get him kind of posed here a little bit there. Just to put him in some poses, we'll go ahead and take a look at some size comparisons. Alrighty, there you got him with the Rubik's Cube, the Gormagala statue, our Bumblebee movie Bumblebee, the Netflix Optimus Prime based on the Earthrise leader mold without the trailer, and last but not least MP44. Alrighty, that's him and his size comparisons, and here he is. And final thoughts. It's not bad. The articulation's a little lacking. The dinosaur mode looks a little weird, but it's a $30 Voyager class figure in the main line that has 3 modes and a Headmaster that has to be a Headmaster for the robot and a half a jaw for the dinosaur. So I can forgive it. I can give it a pass on those issues. The weapon integration is good in all 3 modes. It fits on and it doesn't look too bad. He's just got giant rockets on his back as a dinosaur. It's almost like Mecha Godzilla with that blue backpack he has. In the iteration from I want to say it was the early 2000s era, but I could be wrong. I'm not a super Godzilla fan. But so yeah, he's kind of like Godzilla, and then his partner Apeface is a monkey, so it's definitely some Godzilla versus Kong action. And I actually want to look up, but I'm pretty sure that Godzilla vs. Kong was a movie before these horror Kongs were released, so I wonder if it's actually a reference. I'm sure someone could tell me in the comments. And that's your lot for him, really. I'm not sure who I'm doing next, which is why there wasn't a comparison with the next guy I'm doing. He's just going to be a surprise. And then Hound, we skipped him for the Soundwave on Monday. So Hound is just going to be the following Monday after this review comes out. And then we'll see what deluxe I do after that. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not sure who I'm going to do. I think I want to do the Kingdom Soundwave with the tape deck, because I did just show him off in the review with the Netflix Bumblebee movie Soundwave, but I wasn't sure if there was someone else I should do before that. So, bar no one else being in my way, we'll have Soundwave next Friday. But that's about that. So if you liked the video, go ahead and give her a like. Subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to get notified about more content. If you want a notification other than YouTube, you can go ahead and follow my social media links in the description below. Twitter and Instagram, I try and post before the day before review comes out, so you got a little forewarning there, but it's usually Mondays and Fridays anyway. And I got playlist link below. Got the War for Cybertron playlist, which this guy will be a part of. Also some studio series and some knockoff third-party / masterpiece kind of stuff. And that's about it. So I will see you guys in the next episode.